Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we continue our ranking of the most needed Traitor Legion gene lines by the Imperium, as we move into the top 3. No need for a spoiler warning today, so let's waste no time and just jump straight in. With the galaxy entering a defining moment of change, the Imperium railing against the emerging Leviathan, Guilliman about to crusade across the rift, it feels like the Imperium could use the Traitor gene lines more than ever. And with Alpha Primus confirmed to have Traitor gene seed within him, it's really making me reevaluate which Traitor Successor chapters the Imperium could use. And so that's exactly what we're doing, ranking the Traitor gene lines from least to most needed. There are 3 main factors at play that I'm using to judge my rationale and thinking, with 1. The defense and stability of Imperium Sanctus, 2. The fight back against Leviathan, and 3. Guilliman's launching invasion and reconquest of Imperium Nihilus. As always, this is just my opinion. Agree, disagree, drop your own thoughts and rankings in the comments below. My rankings so far have been: in 9th the World Eaters, in 8th the Alpha Legion, in 7th the Death Guard, in 6th the Night Lords, in 5th the Lunar Wolves, and in 4th the Emperor's Children. And so today, in 3rd, I have the Iron Warriors. You know, I'd like to think Perturabo would be happy with this high rank and a little bit of recognition, but let's be honest, he'd still find something to sulk about. On first glance, the Iron Warriors may fly in the face of some of the rationale I've used in some of the earlier ranks. For example, the Death Guard I felt were a bit too similar to what other Imperial chapters can do already, and the World Eaters would rack up far too many casualties. Both arguments you can make against the Iron Warriors. Their similarities to the Imperial Fists is legend, their armoured style of war echoed by the Iron Hands, and the Legion was infamous for the amount of casualties they took. However, I don't think it's that straightforward. As much as the Imperial Fists are renowned fortress builders, it's more the stubbornness aspect that has infused Rogal's sons and successors. The days of marvelling at Imperial Fist fortifications has vastly reduced since the days of the Heresy, the breaking of the Legion. And since adopting the Codex Astartes, you have to say Imperial Fist tactics have altered slightly. Though again, perhaps that's more to do with the loss of the Legion, the numbers they used to possess. Either way, we're certainly not talking of the Imperial Fist line garrisoning the length and breadth of the Imperium. An influx of Iron Warrior successors, however, would absolutely fit that narrative. Let's take the defense and stability of Imperium Sanctus. A founding of Iron Warrior successor chapters, spread out across Imperium Sanctus, would be like an iron spine stealing the Imperium. Each homeworld having a fortress monastery of marvel, a bastion of defense that would withstand the fiercest invasion. At the very least, holding out far longer than your average chapter, giving a much higher chance of reinforcement. And let's be honest, primed with enough guns that they'd most likely blow any invading fleet out of the sky. So you want to talk about stability? That is stability. The Iron Warriors would be the bedrock the Imperium could function on. No, they wouldn't have the charm of the Emperor's Children, the care and embrace of the people like the Salamanders, but they would keep the people safe. Their response to threats and dangers too would be perfect for the current Imperium. There's no messing about with the Sons of Perturabo. They're not going to try some spearhead close combat assault. They're not going to risk or jeopardize the objective. They're going to turn up and just obliterate the enemy with overwhelming firepower. Now you could argue, well, the Imperium has that in the Iron Hands line. And yes, to a degree, I don't disagree. However, I will counter with one. As much as I love the Gorgon, when I think of real overwhelming firepower, I think of the Iron Warriors first and foremost. 2. The Sons of Perturabo, for all their love of bionics, absolutely retain their minds and emotions. They aren't scarred by the loss of their Primarch as the Iron Hands are. That's an important difference. The Iron Hands let numbers decide if a world's worth saving. The Iron Warriors wouldn't. They would come regardless. You can knock Perturabo for petulantly turning traitor, but go back and look at his meeting with the Emperor. The sheer emotion of that encounter. Perturabo was truly dedicated to the cause, and his successors would be now. And number 3, even if you do feel there's too much similarity there, overwhelming firepower is the one thing the Imperium can never have enough of. The war against chaos, the war against the Tyranids, heck, against the galaxy, is a war of attrition, and it's a war the Imperium can't win. So tactics that obliterate and overwhelm the enemy from afar not only plays to the Imperium's strength, it's also exactly what they need. And that works perfectly for the war against Leviathan too. You want a fleet to go up against a Hive fleet? Well, the Iron Warriors are your guys. You want a chapter to defend a world from Tyranid invasion? Well, you absolutely want the Sons of Perturabo. That's a shield wall that's simply not breaking. No, they may not be the logical or first choice for the rapid Soulblade fleets, but the Iron Warriors were surprisingly savage in close quarters, even being compared to World Eaters at times. You wouldn't want to write them off in a boarding action. Again, the Iron Warriors just tick all the boxes. And as for Guilliman's crusade and reconquest of Imperium Nihilus, I mean, come on. First up, you've got the tactical heritage of Perturabo added to the crusade. Undoubtedly one of the finest tactical minds of all the Primarchs. Their chapters alone would be perfectly suited to carrying out Guilliman's orders to the letter, which is exactly what Guilliman's plans depend on. If Guilliman wanted a particular system, if his larger plan hinged on it, the Sons of Perturabo would deliver it. And their overwhelming firepower tactics again land right into what Guilliman needs. Within Imperium Nihilus, without the unnumbered suns, supply and manpower is going to be vital. The Iron Warrior way of war will work beautifully in concert with that. I hear you, I hear you. A lot is made of their large losses during the Great Crusade, but I really don't think that would be a factor. The days of the legions are long over. Her chapter doesn't have that luxury of simply throwing men at the problem. Sure, that approach would still take place in small scale, the chapters refusing to retreat or give in perhaps, but I honestly feel the Iron Warrior successors wouldn't idly throw their numbers away. Quite simply, they're too smart for that. There are also few gene lines I could see being better at weathering the storm of warp travel within Nihilus. The demons could come and throw whatever they wished at the Iron Warrior fleets, but you're not grinding down the Sons of Perturabo. Within the larger crusades, I think their commanders would be invaluable. Their firepower, bringing the assault and cover the rest of the forces would need. And on the field themselves, they would bolster and hold that front line like an immovable object when needed to, allowing the rest of the gambit and plan to be executed around them. Each world liberated, each world conquered, would have masterful fortifications replaced and erected, bolstering the defense in this war zone immeasurably. If Guilliman truly found he was concerned for holding the ground he won, as his forces advanced ahead, he could relocate one of the Iron Warrior successors to a new homeworld, instantly giving the Imperium a fortress world against the dark to strike out from. A base of operations he knew, no matter what, was not going to fall. Or we could even see a replica of the Great Crusade, with contingents of Perturabo's sons garrisoning the worlds needed as they go. I mean, what else is there to say here? No, they may not be the most likeable bloodline, gruff and dour instead of charismatic and charming. But if you wanted a job done, by the Emperor they would get it done for you. In a galaxy truly assailed by war more than ever, the sons of Perturabo could reinforce and steal the Imperium like nobody else. They did the hard yards for the Imperium in the Great Crusade. They took on the jobs that nobody else wanted. And the brutal truth is, the Imperium has missed them ever since they lost them. So why aren't they top? Honestly, I don't have any big negatives here. The final two simply bring something more specific of value. But I wouldn't argue with these guys being top if you had them, because the Imperium may have lost its Lord of Iron, but it could still have, and it still needs, iron within and iron without. The Iron Warrior successors deserve this spot, and honestly, they could have gone number one. But as always everyone, what do you think? Are you surprised the Sons of Perturabo have made it this far in my ranking? Or are you even surprised to see them only land third? Like me, do you see the successors of the Iron Warriors giving the Imperium a line of steel, a backbone that would be unbreakable, which it sorely needs? That the Iron Warrior successors could be scattered across the galaxy to bring a stability that no one else could. Do you see their advantages in the war against Leviathan? And how about the war across the Rift? Could they be as invaluable to Guilliman's forces as I believe? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers for your support, it truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again tomorrow for the final two, the Word Bearers and the Thousand Suns.